Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. I'm glad to have you guys here on the 6th of December, 2023, a Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. U.S. Treasuries starting to look long in the tooth, it says. The rally. What is a Treasury rally? Well, it's different than other markets. When Treasury yields fall, that's a rally. In other markets, it would be when the yields rise because it's inverse. What does this mean? Well, the Fed's reached their limit. Pretty much reached their limit. Maybe they can do one more 25-point basis hike, so go from 5 to 5.25 or whatever. But that's it. They've reached their limit because one of the reasons why they've reached their limit and they can't go any further with this, or not much further, is because of the cost of uh, of the U.S. debt load, the debt burden that has to be serviced. And as these yields rise higher and higher, it makes it more difficult to service the debt because it increases the amount of payments on said debt. And right now, it's past the whole military defense budget. It costs more than the entire United States military defense budget just to pay the interest owing because these rates have got so high. They can't go higher. But not only that, it also destroys the economy, the underlying economy. So that you don't get as much tax revenues. Because if you destroy the economy, what pays the taxes in the United States as well is the economy. Stronger the economy you got, the more taxes you can collect. You weaken the economy down, you're not going to get those taxes. It's like the old saying of trying to drain blood out of a turnip, squeezing a turnip. If it's not there, you can't get it. You can only get the taxes if the taxes are there to get. And if it destroys the economy, they destroy their ability, and it lowers tax revenues, ultimately. So they're chasing, it's a dog chasing its tail. And so they're getting to the point right now where the bond market is going to become a huge problem. They've reached their limits. They're trapped. And so what does a Treasury rally look like? Well, like I said, its yields dropping. But what's the opposite of that? If the rally ends, the yields are going to go in the opposite direction, up. But as yields go up on treasuries, they start to become more attractive to buyers. It's probably what stimulated this rally in the first place is the buyers out there say to themselves, hey, you know what? These yields look pretty good right now. Okay, so they go in, they buy a bunch of treasuries, then the yields fall. They don't look so attractive any longer, you know. Everybody wants to get more yield. And so what's this leading to ultimately in the end? They've completely messed up the treasury market. First off, you have to realize that debt you're buying in treasuries is debt that's associated with the huge pile of debt that the United States owes and can never pay back. You know, this is the worst Ponzi scheme there's ever been. Is how did all this get started? How did it all get started? Because I know how it's going to end. That's a no-brainer. This is going to be a wipeout mess. And it's just a matter of time until we actually get there. What our Treasury's going to do? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. But this rally we've been having is starting to look long in the tooth. Yes, it is. And so we're going to check into that when we check into treasuries. But now let's move on and talk about what's going on in these wars over there. Lebanon is saying that they got one soldier killed in Israeli shelling on the border. And they've been shelling back and forth on the border of Lebanon. And so Lebanon is sort of kind of in this war, you know. But there's also other places. Now, like, you know, the Houthis. Let's just take a look at the map here just for a second, you know. Shift the map over a little bit. Just off of my ear here is a place called Yemen. This is where the Houthis come from. And I heard the Houthis described today. I had to have a laugh at it. They were described as the honey badgers of in this war. You know, like a honey badger never lets go. They might not have the technical ability, let's call it that, but by gosh, they sure do have the will to fight. And they're right there in Yemen, next to my ear there. Say Yemen. Now we go over this way. There's a country called Algeria. You see it right here over by my other ear. Algeria. It's a much bigger country than Yemen. And it's on the other side of Israel, on the other side of the Mediterranean Sea, right here. You know? Now, what has Algeria got and what are they doing? Well, I'll tell you what's going on in Algeria. If they haven't declared war against, and they're on the same side the Houthis are on, you know, if they haven't declared war yet, they're very close to the stage of declaring war. I've heard some articles and seen some news that Algeria has already declared war, and they would be on the side of the Hamas side, the that side if they declare war. But I've heard that they've declared war. I'm not sure if it's true yet or not, if they've really declared war. But what have they got? What have they got? Let's take a look. You know, Algeria is not the Houthis. Algeria would be much more powerful than the Houthis. This is a list of the Algerian land forces, you know, right here. They've got like battle tanks. They got 572. This other type of battle tank, they got 500. They got 290 of this type of tank. They got 270 of that type of tank. They've got 760 of these tanks right here, these BMP-1Ms. They've got 220 of these tanks, BMP-2s. This Terminator 2 tank right here from Russia, they got 300 of them. They've got these missile fighting trucks right here. They got 28. They got 120 of these armored personnel carriers. This Panhard AM-11, they got 44 of those. Well, you can see, look, they got over 1,000 of these right here. These armored personnel carriers from West Germany. Got over 1,000 of those. Infantry mobility. This NIMR-2. They've got 3,000 of these infantry vehicles. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. All this equipment that they have right here. I mean, I'm not going to take you through all of it, but I mean, they got a lot. Look at it all. All these guns and weapons and missiles, too. Like 48 of these Ecklander E tactical ballistic missiles, 48 launchers. Multiple rocket launchers. They got 52 of them. Just goes on, this list of the stuff that they got in Algeria. And now what about on the ocean? What can they do on the ocean? Let's take a look here. Algerian National Navy. Okay, let's pull down and take a look right here. They've got 6 submarines, for crying out loud. Right here, this picture, Project 636, Russian-made submarines. They got 6 of them. Project 877, Soviet Union submarines. They got 2 more of those. Now they got these big ships too. Like, look at this one, made in Italy. It's a 9,000 tons size ship. Then they got these destroyer type ships right here, the Miko A200s. They got 2 of those, 3,700 ton ships. They've got the Daffer class, Chinese-made 2,880 ton ship. They got 3 of those. 3 of these Kony class Soviet Union-made ships that weigh 2,000 tons. And the list goes on. Look at all the ships they got. So the Algerians, I mean, we're not dealing with the Houthis, with the Algerians, you know, and they're engaged. They're I would say that they're very close. What damage they could do, I don't know. But I do know they got quite a list of ships here. I imagine they could cause an awful lot of headache, you know, if they join up in the war. We're going to have to wait and see if that actually happens, if they actually join into the war. right now it's just rumors. Well, it might not be rumors, but it's just stuff I saw on the internet. Like says Algeria declares war, etc., etc. I don't know if it's true or not. So I'm not going to put it on here and say, hey, Algeria's declared war, because I don't know. I just, I can't believe everything you see on the internet, whether it's true or not. Now, getting back to the Ukrainian war, Russia reasserts its influence as Putin meets allies in the Middle East. So, Putin right now, he's on a trip to the Middle East. This is the first time he's left home in a long time, and he's meeting with with Saudi Arabia's crown prince Mohammed bin Salman, and there they are, the two of them. What does that picture tell you? You know they say a picture tells 1,000 words. There's Putin and Mohammed bin Salman. There they are, right there in that picture. What does that tell you right there? Just look at the picture and see what you can reap from the picture. What ideas can go through your mind from the picture. Just what do you think? But here we are, and they're having this meeting, and what's going to come of it, I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. uh, the world is becoming very divided now. And it's like I told you in other shows. There's the East and there's the West. The world's divided East and West. And we're over here in the West. And our people that are in charge, I'm not going to say they've all been compromised. I'm not going to say that they're all corrupt. Generalize and say they're all corrupt. But question mark. Is there a large element within our Western structure of power that are corrupt? Is there? And that's a question. Okay, you guys got to come up with the answer to that. What do you think? Israel moves into Gaza. They move into the second largest city in Gaza, and they're intensifying strikes in a bloody new phase of the war right now. And this is horrific. It says Israel's assault in relation for Hamas' October 7th attack has killed more than 15,890 people in Gaza, 70% of them women and children, with more than 42,000 wounded, according to the health ministry in Gaza. So there we go. That's moving onward with that situation. Now, where was I here? We're going to take a look at silver today. Silver's at 24.06. It's down 8 cents. That's where we're sitting at silver. And we took that big crushing defeat in silver. We were up like, what was it, $26 or something, or close to it? And now we're down way back down. What a great time to get in on the bottom floor. I'm going to tell you that they're going to try to control the price of this stuff as long as they can get away with it. They can get away with it for a little while yet. But it's all tied into this whole thing where that first article I told you guys about, where the bond yields are getting long in the tooth. Bonds are attractive when the yields are higher. They're attractive to investors. And never forget the correlationship between gold and silver and treasury bonds. They're both considered to be safe haven assets. Why do they consider treasury bonds safe haven assets when they're buying basically from a defunct company in the United States, looking at the United States like a corporation? It's totally defunct, totally in debt, will never be able to get out of debt, so it's deep into the red, but they consider that a safe haven asset. right? So it's competition for gold and silver. If money's flowing, all the money's flowing into U.S. treasuries, well, it's easy to keep the price of gold and silver down because they're not looking there. They're looking over here. They're looking at the treasuries, eyeing those up and saying, I'd like some of those. No, I don't want any gold and silver. But if something happens to the treasuries, and you got all that huge amount of money flow, if it starts to flow into gold and silver really heavy, they won't be able to suppress the price any longer. And it's game over at that point. So 2406 for silver today. Let's take a look at gold. Gold is 2027 today. It's up $8.50. We see even a bigger separation coming here between the gold and silver ratio. What is it right now? Well, 83% or something? Now, here's what I'm going to tell you guys. It's like you can buy for the price of 1 ounce of gold. You pay for 1 ounce of gold. You can buy something like, I think right now it's like 83 ounces of silver or 82 ounces with this little move. I think it was 81 ounces, but we've had a little move right now. Gold staying high and silver staying low. Probably, I don't know where it's exactly where it is right now, but maybe 82 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. Here's what's going to happen. It's almost a sure thing. When they lose control over the gold and silver price, at first gold's going to lead. It'll lead. Then later, silver's going to lead the charge. It always works this way. When the market really gets hot, when gold prices are really shooting to the moon, silver actually does even better. And so what you're going to see is eventually these metals are going to break free. And when they do, at the same time, with problems in the bond market, problems in the world where we have wars out there that can affect the mining of silver even. Everything starts to get screwed up when there's enough wars in the world. The United States, they're kind of backed into a corner right now. They can see this isn't good, getting caught on two different fronts. One front in the Middle East and one front in Eastern Europe. They can see now. They're starting to say, hey, hold on a minute. If we get on both of these fronts and we start expending, if we really get deeply involved in all of this and we start expending more than just machinery and war supplies, we have to start expending troops, which we haven't got. So I got a great idea. It's actually a stupid idea, but it might work. Here's how to fix the economy and make the military strong at the same time. Because what is the United States lacking in troops? They haven't got enough troops. And nobody's being recruited. Simple. Say, okay, all of you people who want to become new recruits, you get $1 million for each man that comes in and joins up. Sign your name on there for whatever it is, a 3-year tour of duty or 4-year tour of duty or whatever the tour of duty is, Sign your name on the new enlisted man, get $1 million. But there's a catch. Until your tour of enlistment's over, right? You don't get to withdraw. We put it in your account. You don't get to withdraw the $1 million until your tour of duty's over. But there's another catch. You can only withdraw from that money a couple thousand a month. So it'll be on their account $1 million. Or they can withdraw like $2,000 or $3,000 a month of that money while they're on tour of duty. But it's there waiting for them as soon as their tour of duty's done. A whole $1 million. They can withdraw the whole thing then once their tour of duty's done, see? Now think how this would improve the economy. And think how many soldiers would come in. Maybe 1 million of them would come in. Even the old bums on the street corner would say, I'll join for $1 million. They're all coming in just swarming the military recruitment offices. So all those it's just the digits anyway, just type it all into their bank account. That's how they make the money anyway. Just type it in. Type in $1 million for you, $1 million for you, $1 million for you, $1 million for you, right? So you got this huge army then, right? No problem with recruiting anymore. Now, all that huge army's able to withdraw a couple thousand every month from their bank accounts, so the money starts flowing into the economy. So it kills the dollar. Dollar's going to die anyway, for crying out loud. I told you that was a stupid idea. You know? Heck, you might as well have you might as well get something out of the but the economy. I'm going to tell you, if they did that, if there's like 100,000 new recruits with $1 million each of them in their bank accounts, it would increase the money supply. Yes. And the inflation would come much faster. Yes. But the economy would start to boom because they'd be out there spending all that money. You know? And it's a stupid idea. I probably shouldn't even went there. But you got to be a little bit silly once in a while, you know. Anyway, guys, let's move on. Take a look at the cryptocurrency price today. Bitcoin 43,859 right now. Ethereum is at 2258 and XRP is at 62.7 cents. So we're back in a bull market for cryptos. How high will it go on Bitcoin go on this bull market before she peaks? Last time she peaked at 68,000. Time before that was 20,000. So we see the pattern here. But now if there's a huge crash in the economy, that could interrupt this. So we're going to have to keep our eye on that. Now the Dow Jones Industrial Average today, 36,172. It's up 47 points on the day so far today. It's near its all-time peak. And it's approaching its all-time peak. Might set a new high if it keeps on. Now, we've had quite a drop in crude oil because it was like $74 yesterday. Now it's $70. That's enough of a drop where we should see something happen at the pump. Either that or they're cheating the hell out of us. Well, they are cheating the hell out of us. But how much do they drop it at the pump when they get that much of a drop on their crude? Because, see, they're just middlemen. What are they doing? They buy the crude at this price right here per barrel. Now, yesterday they were paying $74 a barrel. Now they're paying $70. Now, what they do is they send that to a refinery, that barrel of oil. They refine it into your gasoline, diesel oil, whatever else. And so really all they're doing is refining it and then reselling it to you. They're acting as a middleman. They buy it by the barrel, this crude oil, and then they refine it into the gasoline and things like that. Now, if they're paying less per barrel for the product that they're refining, they should lower the price at the pump, the equivalent of what they had it lowered by the barrel. You see what I mean? That's what they should do. If they were honest, they would keep that small amount of profit that they get for refining it, and they would lower the price along with the lower price that they receive for crude. But do they do that? Or does the government get in there oftentimes and put a gasoline tax in there too? Like they get in the refinery, at least they're doing some work. The refineries out there, and they have to take that gas from those tanks and put it through big tanks and stuff and heat it and cool it and add chemicals and everything else. At least they're doing some work. What does the government do to get that tax on there? They don't do any work for that at all. You know? So, I mean, maybe I'm complaining about the refiners a little bit, maybe not passing on the savings to us, but the government, what do they do for that tax? They say, okay, we're going to repair the roads here in Canada with the tax. They don't. I think that they pocket half of it through. They got ways of pocketing it legal, like so it's all they dot all the T's and cross all. No, they dot. Sorry, they cross all the T's and they dot all the I's. Right? But it's still crooked the way they do it. Because they have ways. They have ways and they never, ever, ever get caught. You know? The government is possibly the biggest organized whatever. I'm not going to say it. In the world. Organized blank blank family in the world is the government now at this point. It's never meant to be that way. Government was supposed to fight against those guys, not become them. I mean, you might as well laugh as cry about it. It's miserable, and they're making all the people on Earth miserable with their corruption. Okay, look at this. We're seeing falling yields today on these treasuries. Still, the U.S. 10 years down to 4.12. It's down 4.6 basis points. And the U.S. 30 years at 4.23. It's down 6.7 basis points. So that's getting long in the tooth, those falling yields. Right? So what's the opposite of that? If that's getting long in the tooth, what's the opposite going to be? Yields going back up again? Of course, then they become more attractive again to investors. U.S. dollar index 103.95 on the U.S. dollar index. And she's going along sideways today, the dollar. Not strengthening or weakening. Been around 103 for a little while now. Okay, thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe. We'll catch you guys in the next article. Or next show, I should say. You guys have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.